Here, I think we're now going to talk about armor. It's probably been a while since we talked about this part about armor, but we might have talked about it before. I want to start with just talking about like armor visual categories in Destiny. So at the top, we've got what we call aspirational armor. This is stuff like raids, trials, dungeons. We want the armor that comes from these activities to be flashy, or to like really talk about the core of what that experience is. It's really important that when players earn these armors, they feel proud, they want to wear them, they want to show them off in the tower. Next, we've got silver, right? This is armor that you can buy for the store for silver. It's important for us that this feels like it's sort of breaking the mold of what you could expect in a Destiny game. It's our place to experiment with stuff that's a little bit fourth wall breaky. And importantly, we want anyone that spends silver on armor to feel like, hey, it was worth it, right? Like I got my money's worth when I spent this armor, it was cool. Then we have what I call near.
What I will say is like, I feel like, and again, I'm pretty sure he's going to go into an explanation of why they put certain resources to what, but like, I feel like the Eververse armor hits the mark. I don't know too many people outside of, respectfully. I'm not talking about down anybody, but respectfully, the Assassin's Creed armor set, in the previews and the trailers, oh my god, it looked gorgeous. But then when you saw it in the Eververse, I was like, yeah, no, I'm not feeling this. It was like God of War, Assassin's Creed, and Horizon Zero Dawn collab for all the three classes, Warlock, Hunter, and Titan, and none of those armor pieces look good. And I'm sure that collaboration cost them a lot of money. I'm sure some people bought it, but even in the wild, just like going around doing PvP or PvE, I really haven't seen those armor sets. Outside of those, I would say armor sets that are paid in Eververse typically hit, right? And so like people will literally wear them out. They will not change that armor. They will buy it and not change it for months upon months because they love it so much. So I really feel like the Eververse armor and whoever they put on that team, I really feel like they really don't miss, right? So it would be, I'm curious on what he's going to say, but yeah, like I think it's the other aspects that actually tend to feel like they miss the mark, not the Eververse pieces.
Narrative armor. This is the stuff that you'll see in any sort of our marketing trailers. This is the stuff that you earn in the season pass. It's the stuff that you earn in the post game of a campaign. And it's really about driving home what that specific moment in time was. So in season 21, it's deep sea diver armor, right? In Witch Queen, it's a sort of like weird paranormal detective armor. You'll see what it is in the final shape here in a week or so. But that armor for us is really about like driving home this clear, consistent fantasy of like, oh yeah, I was there. I remember that time in Destiny. Finally, we've got rituals and blues. And this space has always sort of been about that core Guardian fantasy. What does the Guardian look like that you would imagine as sort of the stereotypical everyday Guardian, or the Guardian that you see on the front line? Maybe tragically a Guardian that tried to go into the portal of the Traveler and then gets cut up into a million pieces. This is that spot. And we need a lot of armor here to sort of flesh out those fantasies. Now, sometime in the middle of last year, we sort of reevaluated our priorities on armor. And we said, hey, we need to be spending more on the armors that people care the most about, the people that earn, that spend, that do all this to this so they can sort of get these armors in the game. So this is like our PvP stuff in trials, our aspirational stuff in raids and dungeons, our narrative stuff. We thought we weren't consistently hitting the bar enough in those looks. And I think that since that initiative, we've been really successful in this. We've put out great stuff in terms of like cowboy armor for Spire. We've put out awesome stuff in the Root Nightmares raid. And we've put out a bunch of awesome armor sets for sort of a deep sea fantasy last season and Season of the Deep. Now, what we failed to do when we reprioritized, hey, where are our resources going, is communicate this to you. So we knew that when we made this change, we weren't going to be able to make a ritual armor set every single year. And we thought, okay, well, that's fine. We have a lot that fits this sort of base Guardian fantasy. But we should have communicated that out to you. And so, one, I'd like to say, this is not a thing that we're never going to invest in. We're investing in it again in the final shape. There's going to be a whole nother ritual suite of armor. And we're excited to sort of replenish that base Guardian fantasy. But just because we're doing that in the final shape year, that doesn't mean that we communicated this soon enough. So
Again, I can't say this enough. Twice we get 2 points of accountability from Bungie in one video. Twice. Yeah, I literally can't understate how again, for me as a longtime player, again, I haven't played since the beta, but again, for going on 8 years of playing, 8 years is a long time to commit to anything. And for playing for just about 8 years, and on console, on PC, through the good, the bad, till now, I can't, like, in my memory banks, like, I just don't know where the other moments, big moments where Bungie has come out and said, hey, we take accountability, hey, we're sorry. And yes, that is a criticism. Not a malicious criticism, but it is a criticism of Bungie that I feel like this should be the norm, not to feel so shocked. And I'm sure others are probably shocked or, just surprised by this as well. But again, I say that because I pair that with also saying that, like, hand in hand, shout out to you for taking that accountability, both in the beginning of saying, like, hey, we kind of missed the mark, and then now saying, like, hey, we didn't communicate well enough. Again, I'm not going to sit here and armchair dev, armchair director and say that, like, hey, this is the exact way that you should communicate. There are absolutely ways that I think Bungie can and should be better about communicating with the community. But for me, in this moment, I'm more kind of enamored by the fact that, we've gotten 2 apologies in one video, which, is kind of wild to me. I'm not gonna lie to you.
So also for this year, we want to take an armor set that we were going to put in the Eververse, and we're saying, no. We should have communicated this earlier. It's really important that our fans can trust us. Let's take this armor set that we were going to use in season 22 for the Eververse set, and let's say, no, it's going to be free, and we're going to put it as ritual rewards. So next season, before the end of the season, you should see a brand new armor set that you can earn through playing Strikes, Crucible, Gambit as like a ritual reward for doing this, a brand new armor look.
Okay,
again,
wow. So that is. Oh, wow. Yeah. I'm not gonna hold you, Bungie. You caught me a little flabbergasted because they know how much money, like, they're again, we don't know Bungie's financials, right? And probably never will for anyone who doesn't work for Bungie. But like, there was that one year where we found out the finances of how much they make from the Eververse during the winter event. And it was like a obscene amount of money, right? And that's also kind of fueled some, frustrations, putting it lightly, from the community. And so knowing that, I say that to say it's like the foundation being like, we have a glimpse of how much money they make from Eververse, and for them to say, like, hey, and this to me is very clearly a reaction to the current state of things in the community, but they're saying, like, hey, we heard you, we're going to fix it in the future, but then the short term fix is that we're actually going to take one of the sets that we were going to sell for, in real life, mucho dinero, greenbacks, dollar bills, y'all. That was going to make them a lot of money. We're actually going to release it free to everyone. For me, these are the insert applause track. These are the moves that, like, we've been looking for from Bungie. Obviously, it's a concern because is it too little, too late? I think that's still something to think about. But in terms of, like, the armor conversation, I know that sparked a lot of conversation in my channel in terms of the videos we put out about it, but then also more broadly in the community. So knowing that they're going to take something out of the Eververse, out of their pockets, and then they're going to allow it to be free for the community, I think is huge. Now, is that going to be the norm? Absolutely not. This definitely feels like a one-time thing to, like, really get people back into the communities. Like, hey, give us another chance. And also, it kind of, like, to me, signals that they actually really do believe in what they're going to produce for the final shape. So again, a lot of this is just signaling about, like, what's happening currently in the future. But, like, to me, that's actually taking directly money out of their pockets. thousands upon thousands and thousands of dollars out of their pockets to say like, hey, we are gonna like make this gesture, and hopefully, you know, folks will be engaged, will be good. The flip side of that, and this is the last thing I'll say on this, is that the flip side is it's also a theory test, right? Because in theory, everyone was up in arms. It's like, well, if the armor sets for ritual armors for Vanguard and Crucible were better, we'd actually engage them. This is also like theory test for them. This actually allows them to prove a point, right? This allows them that like, and again, not saying that they're maliciously doing this, but this also allows them the opportunity to be like, okay, well, we gave y'all one of our premier sets for free and people still didn't use them, and so that's going to justify us not doing it in the future. Again, I'm not saying that's the thought process that Bungie is taking, but I am saying they would be technically justified in that approach, would they not? I mean, think about it. Is this like if the complaints were, hey, you're taking away our ritual sets, but if the ritual sets were better, we'd actually use them. Well, here they are saying they're going to give us one of their premier Eververse, actually have to pay with real life money armor sets, and they're going to make it free. If people still don't use those armor sets or really don't engage with them, you know, it kind of proves their point. But again, that's another topic for another day.
We're confident in our strategy going forward. We believe this is the right priority going forward, but also it's our responsibility to communicate this stuff sooner. So we want to make sure that we're doing the right thing by all the fans.